Hi guys, and welcome once again to my channel if you have been here, and if you haven't, so nice of you to pass by. So for today's video I'm going to be reviewing the kind of new NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. So we're gonna go over a few points, and I'm also going to show you obviously how I applied it and what works best, meaning like a sponge or a brush to apply it with. So if you want to see that, just keep on watching. Okay, so I have about 10 points that I want to go over about this foundation. I know that it sounds like a lot, but I think they're all very important. So the points are the coverage, the packaging, the price, the color range, the claims that the foundation has, what skin types this works best for, is it buildable, does it crease, what is the best tool to apply it with, what is the finish, and does it cling onto dry patches. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you really think about it, when you are buying a foundation, I think that all these points are something that you would consider. So yeah, let's just get into it. Alright, so I think the most obvious point and the simplest one is the packaging. So it comes in a nice little glass drop bottle, which I think is really nice and sturdy. It's a nice glass. It is also like frosted, which I think is it's cool. I mean, it looks elegant, and yeah. Also, the amount of foundation, I don't think I wrote that. The amount that you get in here is 0.43 fluid ounces, and I want to compare that to another foundation. So the cheapest foundation that I own is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, and in here you get 1 full fluid ounce, and this one is about $7. This one is $14. So I guess for double the price you get half the amount as you get in this one. So I don't know, I guess if you look at it that way, this one is obviously more expensive, so but is it worth it, you know? I guess since I'm holding this one, I'm going to go ahead and compare it. This one has a really full coverage. This one claims that you can control the coverage that you have, which is a really nice plus in this foundation. So let's get into the coverage, I guess. As you probably see the demo that I'm going to insert right here, when I applied 3 drops of foundation, it gave me a very light coverage, something that I'm not really looking for because it was too light, and I have a lot of like dark spots and all of that, so I'm not looking for light coverage at all. But if you are someone that maybe you're on the younger side, or you just don't really need much coverage at all, then this does work really nice. It gives you a very nice light coverage. You can barely see it on the skin, but it did give me like a very light wash of something, you know what I mean? When I applied 6 drops of this foundation, it gave me a medium coverage, which was actually really nice. I think that on days that I don't really want to wear makeup at all, I would go for like 6 drops because it looked very nice and natural on the skin. It looked almost like I was wearing nothing, like at all, but it still gave me a little bit of coverage. Now when I applied 9 drops, it gave me more coverage, but it still wasn't completely full. So that was also nice, because on days that I want to look like I'm wearing foundation, but I also don't want it to be like extra, then I feel like 9 drops would be the way to go. For a full coverage, which is what I'm wearing right now, I went for 12 drops, and I think a little more than 12, maybe 13, 14, and it gave me a completely full coverage, which is what you're seeing right now. I did set it with my Mercier translucent powder, because that powder gives me no extra coverage at all, so I set it with that one, and it looks beautiful. I think it looks so pretty on the skin. My skin, I think that it looks pretty flawless right now, but it still looks pretty natural, as opposed to this foundation. When I wear this, 1 to 2 layers of this is already pretty full and heavy. It's not uncomfortable at all. I actually really like this foundation, but this one looks so pretty, so natural, just so flawless, and it just looks so pretty. I really like it. So let's see, we went over the coverage, the packaging, the price, the color range. This foundation comes in 24 shades, which I think is amazing. The shade that I got is 12 Classic Tan. I did go to the next store and I got color match, and they gave me this one. It is a shade darker than I am right now, but I don't mind at all because I know that in the summer this is going to be perfect for me, and the summer is already coming, so I don't really mind at all. But I think for next winter I would go a shade lighter than this one. And now to compare it with a few other foundations that I own. For the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation, I wear Y415. For the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless, in the winter I wear 220, and in the summer I wear 228, and it's pretty good. And for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation, which is my favorite right now, I wear Golden. So the claims of this foundation are that it is buildable and that you can just control the coverage that you want, and I think that that is 100% true, because as you saw in the demo, I went from 3 drops to 12 to 14 drops, and I went from very light coverage to completely full coverage. And I think that if I kept applying more, I would have gotten an even more full coverage, but it would still look natural, which I really like. Now I will say this, I filmed this video last week, but the footage was just bad, so I couldn't use it. But last week I had a lot of texture in my skin because I was breaking out a lot, and when I had all those breakouts, I didn't feel like it covered the actual bumps in the skin, if you know what I mean. Like, it's covering the marks and blemishes perfectly, but not the bumps when I filmed last week. So I think that if you were breaking out, or if I was at the moment, or whenever I am breaking out, because let's face it, it happens way more often than it should, and than I would like it to, but I think I would set it with my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural, because it would give me a little more extra coverage. So I think it would look better that way if I had like texture on my skin. As for the oily part of it, right now I feel pretty matte, pretty natural. It has not a full matte coverage, and it doesn't claim that it does, so that's fine, but it has a nice looking matte natural finish. Right now it is 12:55 p.m. That's my list, you don't want to see that. Here we go, 12:55 p.m. so it's basically 1 p.m. and I'm going to go ahead and insert a photo right here, maybe like at 5 p.m. so you can see how it looks at that point. Now right now, like I said, it looks really natural and really pretty, but I am seeing a little bit of creasing right here around the corners of my nose, and I think that's pretty normal. I don't think that I own a foundation that doesn't do that, so I think that's absolutely normal. Aside from that, I don't see any creasing in like any other lines in my face or any of that. So yeah, it looks really good. I do have a few dry patches around here, and with this foundation I can't see them at all, so I don't think that it clings onto dry patches, which is a big plus for me because I have oily, acne prone skin. But when I have like little blemishes, the dry patches do come through the foundation with some foundations, so it's not happening right now, which I really like. Now, as you probably saw in the demo, I applied this side of my foundation with a brush and this side with a beauty blender or a sponge, and it looks pretty good right now on both sides. I went ahead and applied the foundation right on my face, but when I filmed last week, I applied it on the back of my hand and then picked it up with the brush and the sponge from there, and I did see that the sponge side had a better coverage. Right now, when I just applied the foundation right onto my skin, the coverage was the same and the finish is the same, so that is up to you. I don't know that I would want to always touch my skin with the dropper because it can get a little unsanitary, so I don't know. I would probably just apply it on the back of my hand, and in that case the sponge does work best. But if you just don't touch your face with it, then either one is fine. And I did use the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge on this side, and on this side I use my Morphe 4 $439 and $439. That's what it's called. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this foundation. I am really liking it right now. I think it's gonna come down to, does it look too oily through the day? You know what I mean? In which case, I don't know. Maybe I would use a more mattifying powder, or maybe blotting sheets through the day, or maybe a setting spray. You know, there are ways to work around that. But right now, I really like it. And yeah. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, my giveaway is still open. Today, Tuesday, when this video goes up, is actually the very last day to enter. So if you want to win some Tarte and NYX and a few other products here and there, just make sure that you enter that giveaway. The link will be in the description down below. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching and have a happy Tuesday. Bye.